If you've been following this channel for any length of time, you've no doubt noticed that the works of Wayforward Technologies has been the subject of a number of reviews. The California-based studio has crafted some of the most unappreciated games of the past few generations, be they wonderful revivals of long-dead franchises, or fantastic new IPs. It's no secret that I have a certain fondness for their often fun and fantastically presented titles, so how about we do something a little different? During the week leading up to the release of Shantae Half Genie Hero, every day we'll see a brand new review that takes a look at several of Wayforward's games. Before we begin though, a little disclosure. When the Kickstarter for Half Genie Hero began, I backed the game at the contributor tier, meaning you'll likely be seeing the channel's name somewhere in the credits. That having been said, I've been wanting to do some sort of weekly series of reviews centered around Wayforward's games ever since I concluded Spectre of Timber way back in 2013. And what better an opportunity than in anticipation for the Shantae series console debut. Let's get right to go, shall we? This is the week of Wayforward. Kicking off the first of these 7 days is one of the more overlooked games in their lengthy library, Mighty Milky Way. Billed as a pseudo-sequel to Mighty Flipchance, Mighty Milky Way was the third game Wayforward released on DSiWare, aka the incredibly clunky predecessor to the eShop that had, 5, maybe 6 worthwhile games on it. Was Mighty Milky Way among the half dozen stars on the now-deceased storefront? Which doesn't matter because you can just get it on the 3DS eShop. Let's just find out. The game has you play as Luna, a green alien with the ability to create planets to various sizes out of candy as she jumps from one of them to the next while avoiding obstacles like fiery walls and setting terrifying pink blobs on course for collision with one another in order to reach the end goal, a black hole. Oh, and there's the occasional escape mission from a T-Rex with scissors for hands who can blast out lasers from its eyes that destroy planets. And the T-Rex is Luna's ex. It is absolutely wonderful how much MMW embraces its absurd premise, doubly so given how rolling with its quite literally out-of-this-world scenario translates to its design. Whereas Mighty Flipchance and Twitch Force are more focused on completing a level as fast and error-free as possible, Mighty Milky Way breaks the trilogy's mold by granting greater freedom and allowing room for error when it comes to progression, which gives the game a more relaxed pace during the regular levels. The controls themselves are incredibly simple, being almost entirely touch-based aside from using the control pad to slow down or speed up Luna's walking speed, while the level design has a subtle brilliance to it. The earlier levels are shining examples of how to teach the player the mechanics by organically incorporating them into the stage that manages to serve as an effective tutorial, and the later levels match the baddie basis with how original the presented problems can be and how equally creative paths can be conjured in order to solve them. That said, the latter portion of the game can be frustrating on occasion, with the gravity physics being a touch vexing, leading to a lot of retries thanks to the unpredictable push and pull that the planets provide. The final X-T-Rex encounter is especially egregious in this regard because of how tightly in it they are on the various paths one can take and how limited the amount of candies one has to mask their mistakes. Still, the core of this spacebound experience is exhilarating at its finest moments, more than worth overlooking its minor missteps, and though the ending isn't quite on the level of The Last of Us, it is a lark worth wrestling through one's way through the final frontier just to see. As much of an outlier as may appear to be in terms of design, Mighty Milky Way is, for lack of a better word, the most Wayforward of Wayforward's games. Right down to presenting a purple-haired personality plump protagonist, placed in a platformer plump with puzzles to put together on a planetary scale. It's a continuously challenging title whose creative ideas are, more often than not, executed as exceptionally as its visuals are every bit as sweet as any piece of space candy. While this will likely become tiresome hearing some small variation on this for the next few days, it cannot be understated that Wayforward, even when they miss by a massive margin in the gameplay department, managed to excel in presenting an exceptionally eye-pleasing swath of sprites and sounds, with Mighty Milky Way being no exception to this trend. Though the palette isn't quite as refined, nor are the sprites as smooth as the ones found in Shantae Risky's Revenge, largely thanks to the camera constantly pulling in and out, rendering much of the detail more blurry than Belle, it makes up for it by injecting a plethora of personality for its current colored characters in every frame and image, the main lead in particular being a deceptively pleasant yet energetic example with her French phrases cheerfully claiming how the world has one less mouth to feed. Because they're dead.
mort est-elle de toute beauté?
As an aside, Wayforward decided to include a series of translations of Luna's phrases on their website because... well, wouldn't you do that if you made a game this bizarre? Wayforward Technologies, teaching kids their French since 2011. However, being from Canada, I have no need for your silly tutorials. Cela dit, j'aime les mannerismes de Luna. On touche. Enchanté. On the subject of sound, Mighty Milky Way lays down a fine set of tracks, courtesy of conductor Jake Kaufman, a name that, much like the aforementioned praise for the visual presentation, will frequently pop up in the next few days due to the propensity to turn out some wonderfully whistle-worthy songs into Wayforward's games. Though it's not his strongest work, there's still some supremely charming tunes to be found in this gorgeously scored game.
Mighty Milky Way might not be their overall best game, but it is the best in the Mighty Trilogy, and the one that encapsulates their very best qualities. In short, hard not to love a game where an alien interacts T-Rex and are destroying some planets together. That's all for now, folks. Tune in tomorrow for the next day in this week of Wayforward.